Damn, you heard me talk to myself about how stupid that joke was. I laughed about it more, and then I'm like, that's so stupid. Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets
Thank you for joining us.
live pre-show, baby.
Yeah, sorry I was laughing at my own stupid jokes. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you. This is Salt of the Streets, episode 51, pre-show. I'm Donovan.
I'm Colin.
It's going to be nasty out here today. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. That's the third time I'm going to say that, but that's going to be it, I think.
Thanks for joining us on Facebook, guys.
Yeah, on Facebook. Thank you again if you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, because this is released on Salt of the Streets YouTube on, like, you know, Tuesday-ish or Wednesday in the early week. You know, these videos comes out. We also have, obviously, our Facebooks. That's Salt of the Streets. We have our personal Facebooks. We have our personal Instagrams and Twitters that are up here. But I am also alpaca_Donovan on Instagram and Salt of the Street on Twitter. He's at Big Bird Offie on both of those things. saltofthestreets.com for everything that we do. It all goes up there. Blog posts on Thursday.
Word, except for when I forget, because I'm really bad at this.
Most of the time the blog posts go up on Thursday.
Sometimes the saltofthestreets.com gets updated the day after I do it.
Excuse me. But either way.
I'm proud of you, Don. You didn't do the, before we go any further?
No.
Actually, I'm kind of upset that you didn't do that. Or
Well,
is that
I hadn't got there yet. No. No, we do that. We do that this week. So, honestly, if that's how it's going to be, before we go any further, what did you eat today?
Oh, I thought we were going to do, before we go any further, saltofthestreets.com, blah, 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 blah.
That's everything. I said that already.
Oh, you did.
I said Salt of the Streets. I just did all that. I began with that.
I know. I was just saying, like, last week, I want to say you made a big deal about always saying that before you drop all the plugs.
Oh.
And we missed that. But before we go any further, I had a delicious breakfast sandwich, homemade today.
It was a big one?
Yeah, 3 eggs, 4 pieces of bacon.
Damn.
Sprouted wheat toast.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. It was a breakfast of champions. What can I say? No coffee today.
What?
I am decaffeinated right now.
When was the last time you went a day without coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching you smash out all of those, like, all the caffeine when you worked.
So much caffeine.
Bennick. Yeah.
I live off caffeine. What can I say?
Seen you kill like 2 or 3 coffees in one day once, and then also like 2 energy drinks on top of that, all in the period of 9-10 hours of work.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do to survive, right?
Dangerous levels of caffeine is what you were consuming, but you know.
And those, what are those little pop fizz or zip fizz?
The zip fizz, yeah.
Zip fizz, those things really get you going.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I try to steer clear of most of that shit nowadays.
Yeah.
This week's been kind of rough. I've been sleep deprived greatly. And so I've been.
That's why I don't know anything about that. That's really weird.
Yeah, no, you don't. You have no idea.
I've never even heard that term before. That's really strange.
But I've fallen back on buying Red Bulls and stuff like that. I haven't gone quite full bore and gotten like the 24-ounce Red Bull yet.
Yeah.
But I've put down a few 16-ounce ones this week, and they're really good. Those flavored ones, man.
The yellow one's really good.
Yellow one's good. I had a peach one the other day.
Is it like a orange color?
It's kind of like dark reddish orange almost.
Interesting. Maroon,
maybe, if you will.
Yeah, it's peach.
Yeah.
I'll try that. I don't buy energy drinks that often.
That's healthy. Don't do it.
Every once in a while, I'll hit one of those up.
And now and again. Mm-hmm. So what are we talking about today?
Oh, let's see. So I have a lot of things because we're looking at like more of a grab bag type of show again this week, right?
Yeah.
So we had some other stuff that we were going to finish up from last week. So I got like 3 pages of notes here, so I want to make sure. I got a couple of things that I want to hit on from Morgan's letter last week that I want to address about things that I said, because I listened to that again this week. And so I just have a couple of things that I want to say about that. We're going to talk about Michael Colin, because he testified in front of the joint committees of the House, 2 joint committees of the House this week. It was the Appropriations Committee and the Oversight Committee.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. So we're going to
AOC was there.
Yep. Yes, she was. And she did a really good job.
She did. Bravo.
So we are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about North Korea, because on Monday the president flew to Hanoi and met with Kim Jong-un.
Indeed.
And they had their meeting, and then he left early. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. we are going to talk about Venezuela, because we talked a little bit about that a couple weeks ago. Not a little bit. It was a big topic a couple weeks ago in episode 47, 48, I think. Yep, 48. 47 and 48, we talked about Venezuela because there was... In 48, we talked about Venezuela because that's when they talked about the government shutting down, right? And so they had that press conference. And then 49, we talked more about Venezuela because they put more... Like, there was, like, the blockade and shit like that.
Yeah, and that's the one we used that Intercept episode to kind of...
I think we, like... touched on it. We haven't really talked that much about the Intercept episode, so I took a bunch of notes and I listened to it on the way here so we could talk about that today. And then I have some pop culture stuff. We're going to talk about some motherfucking R. Kelly. We might talk about Jesse Smollett because I feel bad because it's old news now.
It's weird that like a week old news is old news now.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
And so we're all going to talk about ISIS brides because Brown wanted to hear about that, so we're going to talk about that. It's going to be a good time.
Now, did you hear about ISIS brides off of the daily episode?
I heard about it before that off of social media, but I learned about it, like got actual information about it from the daily episode because, before I listened to that, I saw like pictures of, women murdering people, and they're like, this is that woman that wants to come back into the country. And from what I understand, there's no evidence of her actually killing anybody when she was over there, which is like a negligible difference, right? I'm not saying that it's like, well, at least she didn't kill anybody, but I don't know, at least from what I've read. And
I think that's just ripe for great conversation around that whole thing. 'Cause it's a pretty, like the real nitty gritty facts of the situation almost aren't as important as the overall, like, ethical, moral implications around it.
Yeah.
So that'll be really fun to talk to.
Yeah. So we will touch on that. I think that's everything that I have written down here. Do you have anything else that you have written down that's not off of that?
That covers it.
Cool. I have a lot of sports stuff to talk about because I think there's like 3 or 4 players that got arrested this week.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I got big football stuff to talk about. There was some enormous baseball contracts. What do you think, if you had to guess, what do you think the largest baseball contract is that's ever been signed?
$200 million.
200? Mm-hmm. Okay. So
I just know it's like egregious.
So the largest one ever got signed yesterday is Bryce Harper, $330 over 13, and it's like all fully guaranteed.
I've never heard of this guy. Who does he play for?
Oh, he signed with the Phillies yesterday.
Oh,
and he's like a 4-time MVP, I think.
Woo.
And yeah, he was Rookie of the Year his first year in.
Shows you how much I really watch baseball.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about that because I have like a list of some of that,
That's
like
cool.
the top 10 biggest contracts in baseball. So because there's a lot of people, there's a couple of people I've shared that with, and they're like, that's absurd. Like I can't even, because especially people who get mad about football contracts.
Oh right.
Like, I can't believe we pay these guys this much money to fucking beat each other up, and I'm like, whoa. You want to get mad about a sports contract? Let's talk about baseball, because these motherfuckers are getting all their money, right? You sign a contract. This guy, he just signed his contract. If he goes out tomorrow, throws the ball one time, gets hurt, never plays again, he's going to get all that money. That's how baseball works. Like, he will get all of that money for no playing at all.
But the odds of that happening in baseball are
slim to none,
so
super rare, because
lower.
almost no matter what happens, you could have some type of surgery to make it okay. He may not be the same quality, but from what I understand, like when people have Tommy John surgery, like a lot of them come back playing better than they did beforehand, just because of how the quality of the surgery now. And I think I don't know exactly what a Tommy John's is.
I was like, is this where you get permanent Tommy John underwear?
No. And it's funny that company is called that, because Tommy John surgery, I believe, is replacing a ligament in your shoulder, or a tendon or something like that. And so the one
from throwing.
Yeah, and
injuries.
the one they put in there is thicker than the one that was there before, and so it's stronger.
We have the technology. We can rebuild him.
I'm almost certain.
Bigger, stronger, better than he was before.
So I always thought that was pretty interesting, but
highly interesting.
Yeah, I think like Alex Collins got arrested yesterday for he had a jar of 5 ounces of weed in his car and a gun.
Sacrilege.
So we'll talk about that. Tommy John's surgery.
It really bothers me nowadays when I see people getting like arrested for weed.
It sucks, dude.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I get it if you're carrying weed on you and you're getting arrested in a state where it's illegal. I mean, I get it because that's the law and all that, but I don't see it, man. And I know there's a lot of other crimes that usually spin off of like dealing and stuff like that, illegal weapons and it bothers me.
I'm pretty sure that they at least charged him with intent to sell because he had so much weed. So Tommy John surgery is a surgical graft procedure where the ulnar collateral ligament in the medial elbow is replaced with either a tendon from elsewhere in the patient's body or a tendon from donated tissue of a cadaver. So let's see this image. So
it's your ulnar ligament in your elbow?
Yes, it's this inside one right here. So they take this and they replace it, and so the one that they put in there is thicker and stronger than the one because it's probably from someone's fucking leg or something like that, And so that when you come back, you're slanging,
dude.
Yes,
that seems like a performance enhancing, right?
So then there is discussion about that, because I mean, look at this picture. Like that's the type of shit that happens, when you're like a professional pitcher. That's how your arm is being distorted when you throw the ball like that.
That is not natural.
Morgan knows exactly what's up when we're talking about, how fucked up someone's arm looks.
Yeah,
throwing the ball. We got a couple people here. I just want to say welcome again to. I just want to say welcome again to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Talking about Tommy John surgery. We're talking about baseball contracts. So it's
stealing your phone to say hi.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's.
I love to see people coming and joining.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's. I was wrong last week. I said that the combine started on Tuesday. It actually started yesterday. So the combine's going on over the weekend. I know. I rarely.
So disappointed.
Rarely do I get stuff like that.
Angry. Wrong, I'm just disappointed.
That is harsh. So the combine started yesterday. I didn't watch any of it, but I'll probably try and catch a little bit of it today when I get home.
And it goes for like a week?
Like 3 or 4 days, I think. Like it might just be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But either way, if you go on like the NFL Instagram, it's just flooded with people doing 40-yard dash. Like I saw a tight end. I don't remember what his name is, where he was from, but it was a tight end, and he ran a fucking 4.5 I'm like, Jesus, that guy is fast.
40 yards in 4.5 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that guy's faster than shit.
I'm just trying to think of that, what that actually looked like. That is so fast.
Super fast, especially for someone who's so big. He's not as big as like Gronk, but he's a tight end, so he's a big boy.
I mean, even the smallest football player is a mountain of flesh compared to somebody like somebody like my size.
Right.
And I'm not a small guy. Them people are they're a whole nother race of individuals, man.
If you weighed
another part of the species.
If you weighed 80 more pounds, you might look like a football player,
But I need to have a gut that just comes out and over like that.
Then you would just be an offensive lineman. You could be 80 pounds of any type of different distribution.
Hey, man, I'm not saying that I could do better on the O-line of the Seattle Seahawks, but I mean, at this point...
That was cold. That was cold.
I mean, did you watch last season?
They were much better.
Before that, and the season before that?
Much better last year than they were the 2 seasons prior to that.
I will give them that. They were a little better.
They were at least middle of the pack, at least, I think, on average. There were some weeks where they were looking fucking smoking because you can't have Chris Carson, running fucking all that, like almost 1,000 yards or whatever.
So much.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. We can see how many fucking yards Chris Carson ran last year.
A shit ton. That's how many.
Oh my God, Chris Carson.
A metric shit ton.
Yep.
Boom. I'm curious. Because Chris Carson was backup?
Chris Carson they just kind of... 1,100 last year.
Whoa.
1,151 yards last year. You know what I'm saying? So...
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Also, he was born 3 months before me, so fuck me, right? I hate that.
See, at this point, I'm old enough to be like, well, I'm too old to play football, so it's fine.
Morgan said she'd wear your jersey number if you played for the Hawks.
Word.
That's nice.
What number would what number would your number be if you could pick any number?
When I played in school, I almost made a point to have different numbers all the time. Like I never played the same number any of the times that I played. So between 9th grade and 10th grade, I had different numbers, and then in 10th grade, I wore different numbers several times throughout the season.
School districts that poor. You mean
it just didn't matter, because then when they're handing out jerseys, you just walk through like the storage room and they're like, "What number were you?" And so there's like when you play, there's positionally different slots of numbers, generally, right? And so the linemen are like higher numbers. Quarterbacks are generally numbers under 20. Right. And so it's things like that. Wide receivers are, and running backs, skill positions are between like 20 and fucking 65. And there's generally,
okay.
Right. Because there are people that have numbers outside that because that's what they plan, but generally that is how that goes.
Interesting.
So next time you watch, right, you'll see most linemen, offense and defense have numbers that are 60 and above.
Okay.
That is just generally how that works. And so a lot of like linebackers and stuff like that are 40s, 50s, and 60s,
That's cool. I didn't know that. Right. Something else to pay attention to when I watch
football. And there's no I don't believe that there's any actual rule on it. It's just, I can put it over here, sorry. There's no actual rule on it because you can have a wide receiver. I can't think anybody off the top of my head, but people who have like way hard, like Tyler Lockett's 16, and so that's
it's
under 20, but it's within that. Yeah, it's you can be whatever you want, especially at that point. But generally,
you can have whatever personal truth represented on your back that
you want. Right. So you can identify however you want. It doesn't. We're not discriminating on that. But so I had I wore like 65, 61, 63. I wore some numbers in the 70s, and because when I played on the D line because I hated playing offense. And
interesting
because when you're playing offense, you're waiting for someone to come to you, and I didn't like that. And so I would always rather be rushing. So when I played
attack mode,
so I was either a D tackle or I played on the left end. And so that's just kind of generally where my numbers were. And I never felt any type of connection to that. Jordan had a boyfriend when we were in high school. Boyfriend she had before me, instead of me, actually, is what we'll say, for several years. He played football when I was a sophomore and he was a junior, and he quit for some type of reason. I don't remember why.
Because he's a punk ass.
Yeah, for some type of reason. And so the next game that we played, I got his number just randomly, because like I said, I never I just grabbed it. I didn't give a fuck. And so you wore your, you get the jersey the night before the game, and so you wear it to school the next day, whether it's over a tie and a fucking shirt or they're gonna do it.
I forgot about that. You dressed up on game days,
right? And I never did that. I always just wore it with jeans because I'm a fucking prick like that. But and so I did that, and then he saw that I was wearing his jersey number one day and got mad at me. And then Jordan has told me numerous times that that's all he talked about that day was the fact that I was wearing his jersey number, because he hated me anyway, because he knew that Jordan and I I wanted to be with her. And so he never liked me. And so it was just another reason for him not to like me, that I was wearing his jersey number. I'll never forget that.
That is so great.
It was, like you said, it's like
passive aggressive much.
Like the doctrine of vaccination. It's just one of those things that happens to me that's this is my life,
That is so funny. It is. Only you, man.
I've just got really interesting luck that way, but it seems to have suited me okay.
I think it's worked out for you.
Is that the way that should be said?
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, because I heard someone on a podcast say that someone pleaded guilty, right? And so I'm wondering, when is it right to say pled and when is it right to say pleaded? And then later that day, my grandma called me and she's like, so I thought that you and Colin should be starting to build an encyclopedia library for the podcast. So you guys have reference books and stuff like that. So one of the books that she bought is a book on when you, the proper way to use certain words.
Oh, yeah.
So I am almost certain in that book will be pleaded and pled, because they're both words, but I don't know which one is proper and which
Is this the first ever pre-show fact check?
I guess so. Because, yeah, I just was curious and I wrote it down. I never looked it up, but I wrote it down because I was curious as to when that is.
Yeah, because intuitively you think pled is in past tense. So he pled guilty to charges of.
Right.
If he was going, let's see.
Why would you say
Cohen
pleaded guilty?
Cohen pled guilty. I don't know.
Because pleaded is still past tense, right? Because he eated it, right? Like he pleaded.
He eated it. Yeah. Because that's a real thing.
I just mean it has like the ed on the end of it, you know. That's I will say
we are not the right person to answer this question right now. We'll have to do some research.
I'll just have to wait until I get that book. So grandma, if you're watching this at some point,
that was great.
We already have something to use that book
Good
for.
Call.
So, oh Jesus, Colin.
Word. You been playing any video games lately?
No, I haven't really had any opportunity to play video games this week. Just working and coming home. This was a blog post week for me. Yep. So I did the blog post. I did like most of it at work and then worked on it at home and stuff like that. But I felt pretty good about this blog post. But we watched, I think that we watched Birdbox this week. You know, so we did some stuff like that at night, and it was
the greatest film ever created.
It was Birdbox was pretty okay.
Yeah,
you know, well, it's
Birdbox.
It's hyped up. It's overhyped. It's overblown. You know,
let's say Birdbox or shit. What's the other one? John Krasinski's movie.
Oh, A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place, yeah.
See, and the problem I had with A Quiet Place was...
nothing, because it's an amazing film.
Was like, that I feel like I remember it just ending, right? Like it was just like over? Is that how it was? Or like they saw more monsters on the thing and then it was over, right? Is that how it happened? God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to watch this movie I didn't really like again, just so that I can talk about it. It was pretty okay.
How
like,
dare
it was
you
pretty
sully
good.
the good name of John Krasinski?
But no, I remember one of the big problems I had with it was when they were, and spoiler alerts if anybody's not seen this movie, but it's old enough now that that's on you if you haven't seen it.
2 weeks.
That's all you get. That's all the buffer we're going to give people for spoilers. I can respect that. There's a point where him and his kids are outside for whatever reason, right? They're outside and the kids like are hiding in a car, I think, or a truck.
Oh, this is at the end.
Yeah, it's towards the end, right? And he's going after this thing with an axe or some shit like that, right? And then I think that like he gets his ass beat and gets tossed away, and then he's gonna have to like sacrifice himself. And instead of picking up the axe and trying again, you know, he just stands there and waits. And that I didn't understand. I understand that he's gonna have to die, right? But it also seems not only more badass if he's to try and fight to the death, right? But it also seems like it's gonna occupy more time.
Yeah,
give the kids more time. Yeah, if he's there, like I said, occupying the monster. Like so.
Yeah, that I'm gonna have to watch it again because I don't remember. But my initial reaction was the end was weak sauce.
I hate you for doing this to me.
Yeah, that's right.
I also watched.
I get them where I can.
I also watched Abducted in Plain Sight, which is a crime documentary, a true crime documentary on Netflix. It's an original, and I don't know how long it's been out, but spoiler alerts because I'm going to talk about it anyway because you're probably never going to watch it. But this girl gets abducted by like one of her neighbors, and he flirts with the mom and like makes out with her and shit like that, and has like sparks up a homophobic relationship with, or not homophobic, a homosexual relationship with the father. And
homophobic relationship.
Yeah, no, a homosexual relationship with the father to get closer to the daughter, and like kidnaps her, but tries to make it look like they got kidnapped, and then convinces her that she's an alien and she has to have a kid with him to like save the world. And this guy just mind fucks this entire family into like, I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's like so fucked up, right?
Like this is a real.
It's a true story, right? No. It's a true story, and people are it's a big pop culture thing because people are upset because of how ignorant these parents are. Because the first time the girl disappears, they wait like a whole week to call the FBI. Like several days they wait. So they're talking about it, and then the guy's wife is like, no, like I'm sure, they're gonna come back in no time. Like, don't worry about it or whatever. So they wait like 3 or 4 days and then finally call the police. And then when the FBI shows up, the FBI is like, so the guy kidnapped your daughter and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh no, he didn't kidnap her. We said that they could go like on the horses or whatever, but he's been gone longer than we thought.
It's a missing persons case.
And so the FBI agent is like, so you're telling me that somebody took your kid without your permission, like at least longer than you were okay with? And like, well, yeah. And he's like, so someone kidnapped your kid. Like that's what happened. And they're like not even able to like come to terms with that because this guy has warped their mind so bad. It's crazy. It's a crazy thing.
I'll tell you exactly how he did it, and I've never even seen the movie. He read Donald Trump's Art of the Deal. And that's how he kidnapped and basically got that whole family under his mind thoughts.
That's the key to
his mind thoughts.
To the strongest deal in America. Because if you read that, you might be president one day.
Mm-hmm. As long as you buy some Trump steaks with that too.
Yeah.
And an oversized Trump tie.
Do you remember that? Like, are you old enough to remember like Trump steaks, like an actual?
No.
Me either.
I wasn't plugged in. I mean, it was probably happening, I'm sure, when I was around.
I'd like to speak with someone who ate a Trump steak and is able to attest to the quality.
I mean, there's always Trump University. You can go enroll there. That's still a thing, isn't it?
That still exists?
I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, I would hope not. That would be bad.
It would be really bad.
But that's who you're going to look up if Trump University still exists.
Yeah, I do want to see.
Because I didn't know, like, growing up, I know Donald Trump as, like, the guy from, what was the show called?
The Apprentice?
Yes. Yeah, that's, like, when I first heard about Donald Trump, And so he was, like a joke to me, like a public figure.
Ceased operations 2010. Damn, I can't get into Trump University.
I bet Trump steaks don't exist anymore either, but that would be nice. So it is what it is. I don't remember. So that's how I knew him, was the guy from The Apprentice, and then like Mac Miller had the Donald Trump song, and then he's like, I'm gonna run for president. And I was like, what?
What?
What do you mean, man? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Introduced May 8th, 2007. This is according to Wikipedia, so grain of salt.
Yeah.
Discontinued July 2007.
Oh.
So
only 2 months?
So basically 2 months. Yeah.
Oh.
So
really probably wasn't that good then.
No, definitely wasn't that good. I mean, who knows? But
yeah.
Because he just slaps his name on there. What he does. Other than that,
I think that's it. I think we're gonna go ahead and call this a wrap for the pre-show.
Peace.
We talked about everything earlier, but we'll talk about it again. This is all the social media up here. I'm Pack_Donovan on Instagram. I am Salt of the Street on Twitter. It's Big Bird Offie on both of those things. You can find us Salt of the Streets on Facebook, saltofthestreets.com for everything. All of our videos are on YouTube at saltofthestreets.com. You can find our podcast anywhere. It comes out on Monday. Blog post on Thursday. Videos in the middle of the week.
Boom skis.
That's it. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about, because we will monitor the social media while we are doing the show. So if there's any last minute topics that you want to know about, let us know. You can hear about it on Monday. Thank you. Everybody have a wonderful evening. It's only like 1 o'clock. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Thank you.